Welcome to Endwalker. In this guide, we'll go over all of the actions the Archer and Bard learns from level 1 to 50 in order. We'll go over how each action is meant to be used and when applicable, the recommended way to use it. Please refer to the video in the top right corner for explanations of role actions specifically. Heavy Shot is your starting action. It functions as your filler weapon skill, so you simply use it when you have nothing more important to do. At level 2, you learn the weapon skill Straight Shot. This can only be used when you have a so-called Proc, which you get with a 20% chance whenever you use Heavy Shot. When Straight Shot is available, you want to use it over Heavy Shot. At level 4, you learn the ability Raging Strikes, which boosts all the damage you do for a while. Essentially, you want to use this action as often as you can, but preferably you want to lateweave it to make the most of the duration. Later on, you will want to pair this ability with certain other abilities. A crucial distinction between weapon skills and abilities is that while weapon skills are beholden to their 2.5 second shared recast timer, abilities are only limited by the fact that most actions incur half-second animation lock. For this reason, abilities should be weaved between weapon skills. You can typically fit 2 abilities between 2 weapon skills. Late weaving is the concept of delaying the use of an ability as late as possible without delaying your next weapon skill to make the most of the buff the ability may give during your weapon skills. If you want to learn the more deep details of these aspects, I refer you to the video in the top right corner. At level 6, you learn the weapon skill Venomous Bite, which does some damage up front and much more as a damage over time effect, or DOT for short. This DOT lasts 45 seconds and makes Venomous Bite stronger than Heavy Shot if the enemy survives at least 12 seconds with the DOT on them. Additionally, if you use dots like Venomous Bite while affected by temporary damage buffs like Raging Strikes, the damage bonus from the buff applies for the full duration of the DOT. At level 12, you learn the ability Bloodletter, which is an attack that holds 2 charges with 1 charging every 15 seconds. You should weave this ability between your weapon skills whenever you have a charge. It is not super important to save them to use during Raging Strikes. At level 15, you learn the ability Repelling Shot, which on use pushes you back 10 yalms in about half a second. This can be useful for positioning, but in most cases, this action is not particularly important. For reference, players run at about 6 yalms per second by default. As dungeons become available at level 15, it is worth mentioning that while ranged physical damage dealer jobs like archers and bards have great range, their ability to move at all times means that you should try to stick by your group. In essence, if you have no good reason to stand far away from your target, it is better to get closer to your group to make it easier for a healer to heal you, for instance. At level 18, you learn the weapon skill Quick Knock, an area of effect attack, or AoE for short, which beats both Heavy Shot and Straight Shot on 2 or more targets. On 2 targets, Venomous Bite has to last at least 24 seconds to break even with Quick Knock, and Quick Knock is always better than Venomous Bite if it can hit at least 3 targets. At level 30, you learn the weapon skill Wind Bite, which does slightly less upfront damage than Venomous Bite, but significantly more damage over the duration. It also lasts 45 seconds, and while it does beat Quick Knock on 3 targets if the target lasts 42 seconds, I would recommend simply spreading Wind Bite on as many targets as possible while the tank is still pulling and you otherwise can't hit 3 targets at once with Quick Knock, and then resort to just Quick Knock once the pack reaches a standstill. Also at level 30, doing your class quest line will eventually lead you to the Bard quest, which is available once you complete the main scenario quest, Self-Management. Once you unlock the Bard, remember to equip your Soul Crystal to change into the Bard job. As an extra optional bonus, unlocking the Bard gives you access to the quest Plucking the Heartstrings at Miketo's Amphitheater in Old Gridania, which gives you access to the performance menu to play music. The starting action of the Bard is the ability Mage's Ballad, which does some damage on use and boosts everyone in your party's damage output by 1% as a small bonus for its duration. Additionally, for the next 45 seconds, every 3 seconds that pass, there is an 80% chance that Repertoire activates. Mage's Ballad's Repertoire effect is to significantly reduce the cooldown of Bloodletter on each proc. This of course means that during Mage's Ballad, you should be extra sure to use Bloodletter as quickly as you can weave it when it is available. Try to use Mage's Ballad alongside Raging Strikes, as they have the same cooldown. At level 35, you learn the ability the Warden's PN, which can remove a removable debuff from yourself or another party member. If you use it with no removable debuffs available on your target, it instead applies a buff that removes the first debuff that can be removed that appears on the target. You can identify removable debuffs by the bluish-white line above the debuff icon. Try to remember to make use of this ability, as it has incredible power as the only ability-based debuff removal in the game. At level 38, you learn the ability Barrage, which makes your next single target weapon skill hit 3 times. It also immediately enables Straight Shot, which is the best option to spend this on anyway. Due to the ability having the same cooldown as Raging Strikes, it should generally be weaved around the same time. Only use Barrage if you don't already have a Straight Shot proc. On 6 or more targets, Barraged Straight Shot does less damage than Quick Knock, and so at that point you should skip this ability entirely. At level 40, you learn the ability Army's Paeon. Similar to Mage's Ballad, it does some damage immediately and then boosts everyone in your party's direct hit rate by 3% as a small bonus. Additionally, Army's Paeon's Repertoire effect, which works the same as Mage's Ballad, is to reduce your recast time on Weaponskills by 4%, stacking up to 4 times for the duration of the song. After that, additional procs do nothing. Keep in mind that Army's Paeon does not stack with Mage's Ballad, so while you want to use both on cooldown, you should use Mage's Ballad first, and then when it has less than 3 seconds left, you can switch to Army's Paeon. In the final 3 seconds of Mage's Ballad, it is not capable of proccing anymore, since the final proc happens at the 3-second mark. At this level range, you can also opt to let each song play out completely before changing, since their combined duration is shorter than their cooldowns. You should continue to use Raging Strikes alongside Mage's Ballad, even if Army's Paeon is a little stronger on AoE at this level. This is because Mage's Ballad is superior on single target, so combining it with Raging Strikes and Barrage on boss fights is the preferred option usually. On large AoE packs, you should still use Raging Strikes and Mage's Ballad, especially because of the next ability. At level 45, you learn the ability Reign of Death, which is an AoE alternative to Bloodletter in every aspect. They even share cooldown. On 2 or more targets, Reign of Death completely replaces Bloodletter. At level 50, you learn the ability Battle Voice, which boosts you and everyone in your party's direct hit rate by 20%. It can only be used while one of your songs, Mage's Ballad or Army's Paeon, is active. It also has the same cooldown, so it should be paired up with Mage's Ballad, Raging Strikes and Barrage too. Also, Battle Voice always lasts its full duration regardless of whether the song it depended on ends. To round off, let's cover single target and AoE rotations at level 50. For single target, let's start with an opener. Activate Raging Strikes and immediately apply Windbite, then weave Mage's Ballad and Bloodletter. After that, use Venomous Bite, weaving Barrage and Battle Voice. Then use Straight Shot, weaving Bloodletter again. This then leads into the general rotation. Use Heavy Shot when nothing else takes priority, and weave Bloodletter when it is available. Once Mage's Ballad runs out, weave Army's Paeon, and remember to reapply Windbite and Venomous Bite, as they happen to last just as long as your songs. Make sure to reapply Windbite and Venomous Bite whenever they are about to run out. Every 2 minutes, take note that Mage's Ballad, Battle Voice, Raging Strikes and Barrage will all become ready together, and you should use them all together in sort of the same order as we did in the opener. Applying dots while Raging Strikes is active does make them hit harder, but this is only really a gain if you do it with dots that have less than 6 seconds left on them, so don't worry too much about this. For 2 targets, replace Heavy Shot and Straight Shot with Quick Knock. Only use Straight Shot alongside Barrage. Remember that Windbite and Venomous Bite are only worth using if they last 24 seconds, and if that is not the case, just resort to using Quick Knock. Use Reign of Death in place of Bloodletter. Aside from that, continue to use Raging Strikes, Barrage, Battle Voice and your songs as previously explained. For 3 or more targets, Windbite and Venomous Bite are only worth using while the tank is picking up enemies, and should be skipped once you can hit 3 targets with Quick Knock. For 6 or more targets, Barrage can be skipped entirely too. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions or anything to add, please leave a comment down below. Fun fact, back in Stormblood, both Bard and Machinist had access to a role action called Palisade. 20% physical damage reduction for 10 seconds on a player of your choice on a long cooldown. This typically ended up landing on the tank on large pulls, of course,